So what we're going to be doing today is very quick recap, and the reason why I'm recording it is so you can go over it again. So I will go fast, it might be faster than you're really used to, but this has just got to go over it. So a recap. We looked at what type of integration is it called? Can you remember?
Integration.
Mathematical, yes. Yeah, what kind of integration? It's a good guess, you guess that for anything. Mathematical. It's called definite integration. Definite integration. And definite integration is very, very useful. So what kind of things can it do? Stuff, yeah.
Find the exact area.
Find the exact area is good. So you can find exact areas, but remember, the signed area. Good. People get confused with this one, don't they? Remind me, why do people get confused with this one? Especially if it's from -2.
0 as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
the -4 area.
Yeah, so if you went from -2 to 0, you get -4 as the answer, but the area would be 4. So I call it the absolute area, they call it the signed area.
So the signed area is the area, like is that the one with being negative?
Yeah, so
and then the area is the always positive.
yeah. So when they ask area, it's got to be positive. So if I said to you, for this one, what is the integral between -2 and 2? The integral is actually 0. Perfectly correct answer, so be very careful. Some people go, but the area is, no, if they ask you for the integral, it's integral. If I ask for the area though, it's 8 because the top one here was 4, sorry, and the bottom one was -4. But you just do 4 plus 4.
Do we just, to do that, do we just do like 0 to 2? Like say for a different question,
Yeah.
do we just do 2 of them?
I would do 2 of them. It's your choice. So people do different. I would always advise you never try. There are ways of doing it all in one go. Don't.
Yeah.
The whole idea of maths is to make things what?
Easy.
Easy. Yeah. So if you're doing something when it's not making your life easy, you're not doing maths. You're doing hard stuff. Yeah. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible, and that's the mantra. I love to say, why do we do this? And that's what. Because it's the easiest thing. If it's not easy, by the way, remember, I'm doing the easiest for the 80% of normal people. If you're not normal, which most of you won't, because you're all special, you might have to do it a different way. Whatever is your easiest way, your easiest way. Very, very important. Do you get that, Josh? Yeah? Okay, so let's zoom on. Now, let's go to further integration techniques. Now, again, you might be thinking, oh no, just a minute, I'll do a couple more of these, sorry, I apologise. So these ones, your choice. Which ones would you like me to do? Have a look, and I'll tell you whether it's a good idea or not.
Could you do,
4.
Sorry.
You ever think, why are you just saying 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm welcome to do 4. Should we do a harder 4?
Yeah, 4D.
What do you guys are thinking of? Let's do 4D. So, let's turn the question round now. Why do you think I chose 4D? Have a look yourself. So this is for D. Why do you think I chose it?
Wait, this is on the.
This is on the, let me just show you, it's on the integration of families of functions.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so,
Integration of more families of functions.
yeah, good. So you could use it as quotient. I'm not going to use quotient because quotient doesn't work.
The one with the 2
He's
negatives.
chain of integration.
Yeah, we could
It's
use
the
it.
chain of.
Yeah, you could use both of them. And that's what the thing with this, there's multiple ways of doing this. Now, firstly, is this asking us to draw it?
Just to evaluate it.
Good, well done. Now, you've always got to read it. Oops, nice focus spell, isn't it? Eval, U8. Oops. Eval, let's try again. U8, there we go. So when it asks you to evaluate, it's just find a value. Always do where it says, and then you can say where it is. There's no need to draw it, is there? If they didn't give you those two and asked you to find that, you'd have to draw it or at least plan it out. Just do it. So what we do, your choice how you do this. You can do it two separate ways, and I'll show you both ways just for the sake of, is that 2 just a constant? Yes. Now what some people do is this. Don't say yet, just let me draw it first. I can see some of you knowing it's wrong already. Okay, now you can speak. What have I done that's incorrect here? And a lot of you will do that in the exam. You can smoke, you'll do this in the exam.
That's wrong.
It's wrong, I know it's wrong. Yes, good. Definitely wrong.
Because then you'd have to take out a half, not a 2.
Yeah, people take out a 2 not half because I want to double it. No, you don't. You just want to take out the constant. And what's the constant? A half. Do you see that? So you're allowed to take out the constant. Now, somebody might, I don't want to do that. I'll show you the other way you can do it. But you could take out a constant.
With the half, is the half meant to be inside of the?
It can be either. Yeah, and that's what people. Remember when I showed you this one? And this is where, if I do the integral of kf dx, I'm actually allowed to pull the k out. You can do that also with differentiation. It's just you guys just do it without thinking. But that's what you're actually doing. You know when I say leave the constant the same and then do the integration of differentiation? You're really pulling it out. Now this is the first time you've actually seen me pull it out. That's not, to answer your question, that's why I've done this back. It's a good question because it's something you haven't seen before. So this is one way of doing it. And then, what do I do to show that I'm integrating? Square bracket, yeah. So e to the x is just e to the x. This is trickier than it seems, this one, because a lot of you will get this next one. Think about it before you answer me. What's the integral of e to the negative x? I just need to do the roll, why I'm thinking. Yeah, why?
You did the normal one, so you just do whatever it is, so you do minus x and then you divide it by the derivative.
Yeah, you're both right, by the way. Take the differential. So you're both right. There's different ways.
No, I was not.
Just do it in a different order. And stick in the same order. So, I will actually show you in full. It really is, in theory, keep it the same, divide by the differential. Now, if you want to jump in one go, you can, but it's a risk of making a mistake. I probably would do that in one go because I've been doing it for years and years. You then, that half's outside, so I might even do big brackets, or you can use round brackets, your choice. And then it'll be, what do I sub in first? The 2 or negative 2? 2, good. And then second I sub in the negative 2. Now you've got to be very careful. What's negative 2? Plus 2. Some people say, I'm going to change that to a negative. Well, no, that stays the same. It's just negative 2. If you're not sure, write it down as an extra line. The half is outside. And then you very carefully, and I mean so carefully, because you can mess this up. How many e squares have we got? Think about it before you answer. How many e squares have we got?
4.
No.
2.
2. Why?
There's 2 of them. And
Yeah.
2,
But look,
negative.
but yeah, it's negative, isn't it? You're right, it's 2, because e squared minus e squared, which is 2 of them. Don't do e to the 4. Minus 2 e to the negative. That's the bit you'll get wrong, more likely. And then, what's a half of 2? You get that? Yeah, that's not easy. That's why I did that one. It's trickier than you probably would like. That would be simple familiar. Remember, simple familiar is different. Simple familiar can be easy. Simple familiar actually harder. Simple familiar. Now, what's another way I could do it? This way. I'm going to separate them. Both ways are absolutely fine. I just want to show you get exactly the same answer. So this time, probably most of you do it this way, wouldn't you? You probably multiply it out. It doesn't matter. I just want to show you it really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Equals. And then bracket it. 2 negative 2. So this one will be e to the x over 2. And this one will be negative e to the negative x over 2. Same as before, but this time we haven't got a half on the outside. E to the 2 over 2 minus e to the negative 2 over 2. And then putting the negatives, e to the negative 2 over 2 minus e to the positive 2 over 2. Same mistake you can make. A half minus a half is 1. Negative a half minus another half is 1. And I did that quickly. You'd obviously have to do it a little bit quick. Did we get the same answer? Yeah, of course we did. You've got to be willing to do that sometimes. Do the same thing different ways just so you see which ones you prefer. I used to always do it like this when I was your age. I've probably got the older preferences. It doesn't matter. But can you do it all in one go like that? No. You can't. Split it up or take out the half. Your choice. Okay. I'll do a couple more with you. You've got to give me a justification why you want me to do it though. It is hard. It's not a justification. Tell me why it's hard. Yeah? Okay. All this is hard if you can't do it. Which one? do all of them. I will do all of them. I'll make you all sit here while I do all of them if you want. I've got more patience than you. don't
Bet. I bet.
Don't even. I'm not betting, man, but I've got infinitely more patience than you guys have.
That's true.
8.
Just because there's like a lot of wording in that.
Good. That's a great justification. Do you want to say this a teeny bit louder so everybody can hear you?
There's a lot of wording.
Yes. And this is, remember, we all, oh, nice if we could do this properly. A lot of you will struggle with these type of questions because there's a lot of wording. It's as simple as that. And a lot of these will be complex familiar just because there's wording. Good news, the maths is actually, let's grab this. The maths is actually easier than probably other complex familiar stuff. It's the wording that gets people. So let's have a look at this. Sketch the graph off. Should we pretend this is a non-calculator? Yeah, this would definitely be a lot harder. Right, let's have a look. So, I see all of you smiling now. It's been a while since we did these, isn't it? It's been a long, long, long while. So what we do, if it's a calculation, it's easy peasy, obviously put it in. I'm going to get a ruler on this. I know I could do it easier by just using the rule function. My brain doesn't work like that. I'm more of a tactile person. Yes, I know it's easy. Just grab the rule function. You've got to humour me. I'm just going to use a ruler. So if I use a ruler on a computer, which is hilarious in itself, it didn't work though.
Suppose you could use the axes.
I could, but should I always able to use the axis function last time? Yeah? I'm trying to do this and keep the
You can get really quick at it if you practice.
I know, I've tried. I honestly have tried. Tried probably harder than all over the holidays.
I bet you've heard that from like math students before.
Yeah.
I bet you've heard that before.
And guess what? I'm telling the truth.
I'm sure they've got telling the truth.
Yeah, right. There's different versions of what I've tried. Yeah. Future selves, that's why they all got E's. Okay. Especially those two. Alright, so y equals 1 over x. Remember that one? Yeah? I always get abused when I use a ruler on that. So we've got this. Now what do we do with this? How is it going to move? And you can just do a bit of guessing with this. If you've forgotten the rules, it's nowhere near as bad as it's if you get to the stage and think, I've completely forgotten how to move it, what are always the easiest things to put in? Always with graphs. Intercepts. So I know it actually, but most of you probably get it to go, let's go the intercept. Then you're doing work and getting out and getting. So remember, if this was Tech 3, you're getting marks for this. And also it said sketch the graph, so obviously you get marks for it. Okay. And if it asks you for the exact area enclosed, you can't find the exact area unless you know where it crosses. So let's do y-intercept at x equals 0. I always find it easy to do the y-intercept. So y equals, do you agree? Yeah. And then what we're going to do now, x-intercept at what? Y equals 0. Good. This one gets a lot of you. So we've got this one. Then we get to this and people get very worried because they say, well, I can't do that. Yeah, cool, that's right. So we put no solution. And what does that mean then if there's no solution? What do you mean?
Sure you can. It's just 0 equals 1.
Well, you could get it's not on the real plane now, so it's certainly not in normal maths. Do you see why there's no solution? No way you can make 0, is there? No way at all. Because you could multiply through by that, you get 0 equals 1. So you've broken maths. That definitely says you can't do it. So what does that mean very simply? Is there an x-intercept? No. Nope, there isn't. So you can very easily, I'm not going to do the rule again because people laughed at me. So the rule is still here. No. So what we're doing now is, the reason why I'm getting fast by the way as well, I've got 12%, so I've got to go really, really, really fast before my computer dies. I might even plug in very quickly. Can I ask, why don't you just come run down here for me? Yeah. And can you just look in that middle bit?
Yeah.
And grab out my charger, please. Thank you. Can you plug it in for me?
Yeah.
Alright. So, where does it cut? Y equals 1/2 or -1/2? -1/2. So it's going to cross there, isn't it? Yes? No, thank you so much. So even, and I know it's yonks since you did this, and that's why we just have to practice.
Here's the other side, so.
It's a long, long time since you did this. But if I just mark that there, think about it. The original looks like this. Which way have I had to move it without using any real... Well, which way have I had to move it? Yeah, I've had to, haven't I? So it's basically been moved along like this. So see? I've pretended I've completely forgotten how to do this, but does it matter I've completely forgotten how to do this? As long as you know what the original looks like, and then what will happen is your brain will stop panicking, because you'll sometimes have little bits of stress when you're in an exam, but as long as you do normal stuff, you'll calm down by the time you've done Y intercept and X intercept. You'll then realise it's just moved along, and then hopefully, now your brain's had a chance to calm down a little bit, what's happened to it and why? It's been translated. How much? Not 2 units. Let me show you why not. If I do,
2 over 3.
yeah, let me show you why, because that's why if you say that, I'll do the mathsy way, but then I'll explain how you know this. If you look at this, can you look at that, guys? See? It's always you multiply it by something which is meant. What do we call it? The dilation. Well done. And it's then got the translation and translation. So if you look at it now, it's translated 2/3 that way. Now, if you didn't know that, you can work it out easily, because think about it. That's why you use different skills. Becoming a good mathematician is sometimes not using the stuff you've been taught, using common sense. Look at when that creates an asymptote, it means it's going to infinity. What can I do to the bottom to make that stretch to infinity? It's only one thing I can do, make it equal what? Not infinity. 1 divided by what is infinity? 0, good. And look, 3 times what minus 2 makes 0. 3 times 2/3, look, 3 times 2/3 is 2, and 2 minus. So you could go it from there as well. But that's the mathematical way. So you see how I figured this out, I pretend I've completely forgotten how to do it. Did I still get the correct graph? Yes. Did I get the correct graph using actually year 9 maths? Yes. Didn't panic. Could I even put the asymptotes in? Yes. Make yourself look like a real smarty. So you put x equals. When it says sketch, yes. Almost definitely. Yeah, and quite often they'll say sketch graph including. I hope they don't tell you that, because I think it's giving you too much information. When you sketch a graph, label unit, scale and title. Again, I should label this and put either the 3. So that was a great choice there, Jazz, well done. And now we still haven't finished. Let's look at find the exact area of the region enclosed by the curve that I just did, the x-axis, and the lines with these equations. So it's the x-axis and x equals 2 and x equals 3. Now remember, a lot of you will panic and draw it like that. What does x equal 2 look like? Like that. Well done. That's right. So it's these two. X equals 2 and x equals 3. So draw it and then look again. Is that correct?
Is it? Yeah.
Yes. Now, if they hadn't told you to sketch it, it's probably still a good idea to sketch it, because they could be mean and have it the wrong way up, or cutting out, or even part of an up and a down. If you do it all together, it's not going to be the area, is it? So now we can say, now this is where you can actually say definitively now, the area equals from what to what? Where's it going from?
2.
Good. And you can say it definitively because it's above the line. If it wasn't, we'd have to make it a negative or take the absolute value. And then it's going to be 1 over 3x minus 2 dx. That's the only time now I've actually done any year 12 maths. And it's the maths that you'll prefer. You probably prefer it now, don't you? Now it's that. Because you go, oh, so far long ago. This is why it's so important. I had some year 11s this morning, they kept saying, but what things could you test it on that we might forget? I don't know what you've forgotten, that's the big thing, you know. You don't know what you've forgotten until you practice. That's why I really implore you, and I'm so pleased that your parents are doing this, and I hope you do as well. Your parents should be saying, what are your SMART goals? And you should be, oh, I've planned this, I have planned this. Okay, and this is the way I'm going to learn. But some of it should be, remember, either timing yourself when you're doing questions, and or doing questions under time conditions, whatever helps you, and choose them. And even better, get me marked them, because I'm the one going to be marking the final. Yes?
This is just a question for question 9, just with the wording.
Okay, can we do that in a minute? So let's do this really quickly. We'll do question 9. Let's just do it. And no, but look, what happens, and this is so important, and you've got to trust me on this, when you're doing the question, what have you got to concentrate on?
That question.
Don't care, and that's why it's so hard to do, don't care what they're doing next door, or if there's a grasshopper, or if Mr. Badley's got a different sock on, or something like that, you know what I mean? They're all observations you don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll be most upset if I did. We are focusing on that thing.
So I've got those exact socks in my locker.
I like them because they've got players.
Inside.
It means you can.
They're black socks.
Black socks
They're black
with
look.
blue.
They've got blue, so you know
Oh,
it's matching up. Yeah, it makes me happy. And you put the same colour paint on them.
Yeah.
So why don't you should have the same colour socks as your
I know, Judith. Don't say that to me. I'll worry you. So we've got this. Now what do we do quickly because Jazz wants to do question 9. So we've got this.
Find the active group.
Good. So we raise the power by 1 and then have a big freak out. So we raise the power by 1, what do we get? And everybody goes, ah! Because remember, let me remind you, if I've got y equals natural log of x, what happens when I differentiate natural log of x?
That's
Y over x, remember that, yeah? Now, if I've got y equals natural log of a function, it could be any function actually.
Function prime, no function.
Good. And a few people actually asked me in tutorial, I think to my other class, say, can you do function prime and put the prime afterwards? You can actually, in theory, put the prime afterwards. I think it just looks nicer like that. It's not going to break now, so don't worry. So now, we're going backwards, and this is where this becomes not a nice question. Let's be really honest about this. Because now we've got to go backwards. And let me show you. This would be a tricky one. What did they say this was? A complex what?
No, it's a simple familiar.
simple.
familiar.
Synfam.
Yeah, simple familiar.
So, that would be intended to be what type? Tech active or tech free? Don't think so.
Active.
Active, yeah. So let's just do it very quickly. It's a tech active ownership. This is the cool thing. It's simple familiar if it's tech active, and it is simple familiar. So let's just all do it together.
Why would it be tech? If it was tech free, why would it be?
I'll show you why it's
Because
simple.
then you're going to graph.
Let me show you.
Yeah, but that's the annoying stuff.
Yeah, but it's also
That's
not
the
something
way
you're
it
expecting.
What they do, they have.
There's multiple
You
steps.
don't just.
Now, what they have, what we go back to. Remind me this next time in our double. Next week we'll talk about that because I'll show you the definition of complex because the book doesn't adhere to that because when they first wrote the book the definitions hadn't come out. So when I tell you that is correct, you've got to trust me. I do this. It's part of my job now. I'm employed as an endorser. So I would actually, I've looked at hundreds of these and I know that's not simple for me. That's why. But if you want me to share why, not now. Let's just do this really quickly. Sorry.
When do you do that? Because you told us you
So last week, so 2 weekends ago I did it, and then the results go back to school this week. That's why you guys don't have to care about it because you will not be given an exam until it's been endorsed. So if it wasn't endorsed, we just have to put it in again. So it's great. It's great. So was it 3x minus what? 3x minus 2. So good questions you're asking, guys. I'm glad you're being really into it. It's better than just sitting there wishing your life away. So we've got that. We then draw it, and what we're told to do from what to what?
2 to 3.
Now a lot of people you say, I keep forgetting it, you've got to do it probably about 100 times so they get really good at it. So we do G-solve, then what do? We go along. Then we do DX. See how I'm better? We're doing the computer now. We then do 2, enter, 3, enter. Somebody said, well, my tutor said it's better to.
Wow, that's an easy question.
So is it? See how much easier it is when it is tap. If it says sketch, that's where you can lose, but you still must sketch it. And if you forget to put where it cuts, you'll lose a whole mark. So what you should do as well, you should do G-solve and Y-intercept. And you need to put that negative, don't forget that. You must do that, yes.
Why would that be complex familiar though?
It wouldn't, so they're wrong on both. So, if it was, and that's what I'm saying, the person who wrote the book wrote it 2 years ago, and maybe even longer, so you correct this now. So if it was tech, it'd be simple familiar. If it's tech free, it'd be complex.
Why?
I'll show you why. Good question. Which one, the Y for which bit, the tech free or tech active?
Tech free, because
Yeah.
it looks straightforward.
It's not a straightforward because we get to this point. Now watch this point now. Now Now at this point, I've got to work backwards. And I know you might not think this is ridiculously hard, but what's the integral of this going to be?
Well, you'd have to take 1 over 3 on the outside.
Yeah. And again, the good news is, because if I do this, and I'm going to show you, if I do y equals natural log of 3x minus 2, I do like to put those over, so you won't lose any marks in maths methods, by the way, I just like to do it. That's just called the absolute value. If I integrate it, so if I differentiate that, what would I get?
Get 3 over 3x.
So I get that. Now, if they asked you, and I was doing a question, was it with you or was it with somebody else earlier today? If they said to do that first and hence solve it, it would become complex familiar. If they didn't tell you to do that, that makes complex unfamiliar because there's one part of complex unfamiliar, the solution is not immediately identifiable. But Shelby said, well, I know the answer because you practiced it. So just because it's immediately identifiable for you because you've done a couple, that still doesn't make it immediately identifiable. And you can have a range of complex unfamiliar. I was talking to Harrison today or yesterday. Remember those couple I said we'll go through in class? One of them becomes actually okay for complex unfamiliar when you practice it.
Yeah.
Can you remind me next lesson we're all going to sit around my calculator, I might even do it today actually if you have time. I'm going to show you a couple of those complex unfamiliar from the exam because it's just better if you watch me to do it. I might even do it on here. Okay. So, now this one. Do you see what's going on here? This is a little bit more tricky because what we've got is, if I differentiate that, I get 3 over that. Now that's an issue there, because it's not asking us to integrate 3 over that, it's integrating that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I can't suddenly change that into that. Why not? Because look, if I... Yeah, look at it, just rub it off again, think about it. I'm going to rub that X, that's right. What is that answer going to be? Look at this bit. There's a hint. So if I differentiated that, do you all agree I get that?
Wait, no, because there's a 3 on the other.
Yeah, good.
Instead of need to be 3 natural log.
Yeah, so it's not, yes, well done. Good, you can tell me why I'm so this way. No, look, don't worry if you don't spot this. I had my other group, I had at least half of them who I had to do it 3 or 4 times till we got this. So it doesn't matter. If you have to do it 10 times, it doesn't matter. Watch again. If I differentiated this, do you all agree I definitely get that? If you don't, you've got to be brave and so. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah? Yes? Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's that and it's the differential. If I integrated that, do the arrow wrong way. If I integrated that, I would get that. Plus C if it was in the. But look, I'm not actually integrating this, I'm integrating this, aren't I? How many times smaller is this than this?
3 times.
Good. So it's actually a third of natural log 3x.
Oh, wow.
I said that's why it's complex unfamiliar, because you've got to do that extra thought. Now you could just memorise that, but it is an extra step. Do you understand that? You've got to remember, and I know you hate me saying this, but you are an intelligent group. I know you're putting face on and say, I don't want people to say I'm intelligent. But it's something that with practice you can spot. You know, intelligence is practice. And will they give you at least one of these at some point? Yes. They'll either give you this to say, differentiate this as part A, hence solve, that'll be complex familiar. Or they'll completely miss this out, and then what will that become? No. If it's, oh, it's tech 3, yeah, it's tech 3, right. Sorry, it'd be complex unfamiliar if it was tech 3. If it was tech active,
Yeah.
because you saw how easy it was doing it tech active, be cat, yeah? So then we'll do it. And see if we get the same answer. Nothing wrong with doing it in a calculator as well, because you need to practice your calculator. Some of you just aren't fast enough with your calculator. So remember, it's the third. Would you rather just keep it in? I think you would, wouldn't you? Just keep it in, yes? So it's the third. What do I stick into it for the first one?
The 3.
Excellent. And I would even write out, I think, oh, that's a bit long-winded. I just think it saves you how to think, and you're showing the teacher that you understand what you're doing. So then it's the third. Natural log. What's 3 times 3 minus 2?
That's 7.
Thank you. Minus the third of log 3 times 2 minus 2. My brain's not working as well.
That's 6 minus 2, that's 4.
4. Thank you. So, and then now, that's fine. If it was tech 3, what extra thing could you do? You could actually take out the third and do natural log, and just you don't have to go any further. You know, you've aced it if you've got that. There's no way of getting a real answer for this if you haven't got a calculator, is there? Sorry, I'm talking rubbish. That's a real answer. It's just not in decimals. What would the answer be then? Natural log of what and why? Yeah, just remember if you minus them, we'll do loads of practice with you later when we're going through your exam paper. I know some of you got a bit confused, just when you're going through your exam paper with you, I still need to see all those corrections and make sure you show them. And there you go. And if you type that into your calculator, you'll find, hopefully, unless I've completely stuffed it up, and somebody check, you'll find, hopefully, that it is, can somebody check while I'm just doing this?
0.
And let's do from 2, 2, 3, and hopefully, it should be 0.865. Please tell me it is.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, good. That won't be good. We have to delete it and, yeah. All right.
0.1861?
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on.
So for that question.
Yes, I'm on it. Don't worry.
Just to
That's
check.
very patient. Hold on.
Not the whole question, but just
Yeah.
what area is it going to find? Because in question 8 it gives you like x equals 2 and x equals 3, but for this one it's just like.
Yeah. Again, let's do this on technology just to show you. But this time, because it's got the -2, which way is it going to move? It's going to move -2 down. What's the 4 going to do? 4 to the left or 4 to the right?
For x.
Yes, so it's going to be bounded already.
I missed that.
Yeah, see how
I'm fine.
have a go at doing that one yourself actually, I'll do it with you. But you'll see, this is not just, I'll do it again, a rubbish sketch, but the -2 moves it down 2 like that, and the +4 moves it along 4 like this. So what you actually have is you have 1 there and 1 there. So it's cutting in multiple. And when it says, find the exact region closed by the curve, the x-axis and line x equals 2, you still, even though you've got 1 point here, you've actually still got a whole section there. Now just by looking at that, now it's a really rubbish drawing, because it's underneath what would happen if you did the integral. Is it give you a positive or negative? Yeah, good. What would I expect your answer to be? Positive, it's asking for area. And that sounds, and again, they'll sometimes give you a whole mark for that, which is the easiest mark you'll ever get, or the easiest loss of mark. Any other questions about that? I know there's a real worry with you guys, because I've already had a conversation with my group about the causes and sines. Just go back, practice makes perfect. Remember to make that beautiful A4 page of when you did the unit circle? If you ask Imogen really nicely, she might even let me photocopy it so you can have a look. It's a great thing about this, you're not competing against each other, you can be one big group. Yeah? It's entirely up to Imogen. So, just try and get notes on it. Yes? What for the one?
How do you do it underneath the x-axis?
I'll show you. Shall I just do it? Do you want to do it on here? Yes? Let's do it so we're showing everybody. So, I'm going to keep this one but turn it off. Why shouldn't you have too many of these on?
Make your calculator slow.
Those do your calculator. So, what was it? Remind me, what over what?
1 over x plus 4.
X plus 4, yes. Remember that x plus 4 moves it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Minus what?
2.
Yeah, remember the -2 needs to be out there. Oops. See how easy it is to make a mistake? Is that right? Now draw it. See how that's cut across? Let's move 4 and 4. Now what did it say it was bounded by what and what?
Well,
It's greater than -4.
Yeah.
X has to be bigger than
Yeah, so let me just show you this. I'm just going to take a clipping of this very quickly. When they ask you to do it in the test, just take a very quick, just do a very quick sketch of it. So there's this one, I'm just going to paste. So is this 9 we're doing, yeah? So if I go to 9, I'll write the question down in a minute, but let me just show you. So if I paste this, what bit are they actually asking me to do? What was it, x equals 2, yeah? So that's one bit. What's the other bit?
X has to be bigger than -4.
Yeah, so it's that bit there, isn't it? So what do I need to find out so I can actually do the boundary of this?
So it would be negative.
Something. So let me show you some on the calculator. So if it was calc 3, all you do is sub in y-intercept and x-intercept to find it. If you've got your calc, you do this. G-solve. Now, I know a load of my year 12 last year complained about this. It doesn't say x-intercept. What must you do on this for x-intercept? Root. There you go. So where is the root? Negative.
3.5.
Because that is actually, that's what most people call it. Yeah. It's just that Australians found that comment funny for some reason. So minus 3.5 is the x-intercept, yes? And then what we do? We do g-solve over dx, and then we go, there's a different way to do this by the way, you can actually use the root function, but I'm just going to do it this way. Is it negative 3.5 the lower bound, yes?
Yeah.
All the way to what?
2.
2. And again, like Harrison said, it gives us a negative answer, doesn't it? And if that's the integral answer, it asks for the area, so it'd be 8.52 units squared. Cool, isn't it? So you asked some great questions there, guys. See how much we learned there, just looking at it?
Very good.
A lot better, isn't it, than just reading all those examples. Those examples are fine. They're actually very good, but it's really more fun. So, actually, while we've got our calculators out, do you mind if I do that question? Yeah, because we'll talk about this, won't we? I'm going to do the spreadsheet question with you. Can I ask you though to help me, because I don't want to split screen this because my computer's getting very slow. I'm worried my computer's going to die on me, so I'm just trying to go as fast as possible. Can you all, if you go to quizzes, can everybody get themselves to, I know some of you have done this one already, if you've already done it and shown it me, good. But if you haven't, I want to see, so, where is it? This one. Can you all get to number 12 for me? I haven't done this one with you, have I?
No.
No, I'm going to do it quickly. Don't worry if you want to come and ask me, because I'm going to rush this in 5 minutes. That means I'm not going to do a good job. Okay?
It's done on Excel.
Yeah.
The answers were a bit off.
They were. I'll show you what.
Because you didn't do the right trend line, you did the trend line considering the outlier.
And that's perfect spot on. So did I do this with you, Jazz?
Yeah.
And that's what we're discussing. Basically, mathematicians don't do maths right sometimes, basically, because I'm an applied mathematician. So their answers is right in the wonderful world of maths, but not for people like me and Mrs. Hudson, because we're applied mathematicians. What does that mean? So we do maths, we're biologists, physicists, chemists, and I know most of you do, chemistry or psychology, even the same. The reason why it's not right what they did is once you remove the incorrect one, you should really redo the trend line. The good news with maths is because it's quite near, you can still use that trend line, which is not right. Let me just say that on video. That's not right.
Why would they think that? Why would mathematicians?
Because percentage-wise, it doesn't make much of a difference. So percentile-wise, I know. Welcome to maths. We can actually sometimes go. Doesn't really. It's a weird way of doing it. But let me just show you. I'll show you the way that they did it first, which is not actually the correct way. Let's do it together. You ready? So, first thing we're going to do is you've got to read what the question says. Does it tell you to plot them against each other or plot the logs against each other? Read it. What does it tell you is linear? The values or the log of the values?
If log base 10 v is a linear function.
Yeah. So it's not telling you to just do those functions, it's telling you to take the what of those functions. The logs, and you get 2 whole marks for that. Let me show you what you get 2 marks for. Can you all have a go at doing this as well, please? Go to menu and go to spreadsheet. There are other ways of doing this. The stats function works just as well. Now what we're going to do, instead of just typing, we've been told it's linear. Can you tell me what it is? Which one's the first? Can you just read it out to me? Log what for the first one? Let's just do the whole of the H
Wait,
first.
so do I read out the table?
Yeah, just the table. So just read it horizontally along the table. Log.
Horizontally. 5.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, we put it that way because it actually steps down. So
Yeah.
that next one's 17.9.
So let's just go back to it. So now read. Can you do me a favour? They don't really mean there. They've given it along this way in the question, but it goes down on the spreadsheet.
How does it?
Yeah, that's really mean. I've done that. So can you read across for me, please, if you don't mind?
Okay.
So it's log. What's the next one? Log
25.
25. Can you do this well? Don't rush this, guys, because you'll make a mistake. Log
45.
45. This is one that with Shelby, that other boy was talking about, who raced me and he just tapped it in wrong. He accidentally used his natural log. Log. Next one.
70.
Thank you. Next one.
75.
Yeah, log 75. Then I'm going to go, see when I do enter it goes down, it always goes vertically in this one. So now, can you read out the next one, the V one? So log of
17.9.
17.9, yeah. Next one,
40.
40, yeah. Next one,
53.6.
53.6, yeah.
60.9.
Next one,
69.3.
thank you. Now by doing that you've created the world's easiest 2 marks. So even though it's complex, we then go, and you've got to watch wide, it's going to be hard to watch on the screen, I'm just doing this so you can watch it. later. You then go to arrow across, and then graph. And then I always use graph on. There are other graphs, they just look different. It's fine. So you choose whatever graph. Now if you look really, what can you see very, very quickly now?
Yeah.
Yeah, now you put spot on. I don't know why they used a spreadsheet. They should have used a graphic calculator in this, but hey ho. So let's put on this. Now, instead of explaining what you've done, what's going to be easier instead of explaining? Drawing a very quick what? Sketch. And then circling on the sketch, the outline. Even if they don't ask you to explain why, I just think just